Okay, so yes, as always, I'm really excited to be here and to see everyone here and outside in the booth, and I mean, it fills my heart. And yeah, I'll be talking about a bit of an update on the Starknet roadmap and where we're heading, what we've been doing. But before that, I wanted to say some words to all of you. So today we're at a very good place, but it's like easy to forget that, I don't know, 1.5 weeks ago, we were in a different place. And in general, the past 2 years, it was a journey. But we still had, and we have, an amazing and really large ecosystem. And I think it's really non-trivial. And I don't know, I just wanted to say a lot of words of appreciation, first of all, for being able to come and build on something which is, it has potential, it has a vision, but it's not there yet, and it's hard. So first of all, for that, and also for being able to share a vision, to say, okay, we know where we're going, we want to build an infrastructure that will hopefully be able to, as Eli said, support broad social functions and to increase the individual freedom in the world. But it was a journey, and you still were here and built and were able to share the vision. So to me, and in general, I think it's amazing, and it's really appreciated. So first of all, I wanted to start with that. Yes, and now what we'll be talking about today. Okay, so I'll try to do something here. If someone can take a picture now, so it will be easier for me next time. But basically what you see here is the community update from Starknet sessions, where I presented that I also did the community update on Lisbon. And it was quite hard to orchestrate it, so please, just a small picture now, it will help me a lot in the next starknetCC. Thank you. Okay, so one is enough. So as we did in previous community updates, we'll discuss what was done in the network for the past months and what's the plan for the upcoming few months. And I think if we can summarize what happened since the last Starknet sessions, I think in February. So we had 2 major improvements or upgrades to the network. So first of all, Cairo 1 or Cairo, you know, the new one was released to Starknet. It was a bit of a rough start, but I think right now we're in a very good place where we have a stable, very good language, and we'll hear about it more today. Yuval will talk, I think, in an hour about what's up for Starknet, and Lior will do a deep dive into Sierra. But the point is that we have Cairo, and at least from my point of view, it's in a very good shape. And Cairo also met performance, and this was the update of last week. And if I want to say only one thing on my talk today, is that I think we have what we need to build. I mean, there are many things that we can add in the roadmap, and I will discuss it in a minute, but they are, to me, and hopefully this will be the trend in the future, are less important. Right now, we have what we need in order to start to continue building and to do it in a much greater velocity. And I hope you share it, and I hope, anyway, I will discuss what is coming, but hopefully it will be less and less meaningful and also less and less disturbing from the protocol perspective. And when I say I hope, this is what we're trying to do. So basically right now, or up until 0.12, it was like a race. We wanted to develop fast and to get something which is usable and ready for, I won't say the masses, but a mass, okay? And now I think we should start and move from velocity towards stability. It's not like, okay, right now it will be stable, but it is a process, and it's a gradual one. And what it actually means from practical perspective. So first of all, the release of the versions, they were quite hectic up until now. 1 week in integration, 1 week in testnet, mainnet, right? So now is the time to start taking more a gradual approach to that and to increase the times to allow easier integration and much more testing. So that's one. We'll also have multiple compiler support for Cairo. I think we discussed it a few times, but basically the idea is that even if we'll have a new Cairo compiler version that maybe introduce new features, but is not right now needed, there won't be a need to immediately migrate to it, but the network will keep supporting it for at least 6 months from the release of the new compiler. And lastly, which is partially related to that, but also to other things, the goal right now is to take every change that we want to have in the network, and first of all, describe it as a SNP, Starknet Improvement Proposal, to publish it, and to have this as the specification and the description of the change that is about to happen. It's, in general, part of the decentralizing the decision-making process, but I think it also has a lot of relevance to this, because the changes will be much more predictable. Anyone can start converging on them even before the version is out. So that's what I see as practical ways of basically allowing the applications to shine and having the infrastructure, Starknet, more as a means to allow it. But what will actually be the road ahead? So the first thing is performance. So 0.12 or Quantum Leap or, was a great leap indeed. And I think it will be a good solution for the short term. But at the end, our goal is to support a worldwide demand. And for that, 50 TPS, 100 TPS is nice. It's a good beginning, but it's not where we want to be. So it will constantly be improved. And specifically, the 3 things that are on the horizon, and we know that we want to do them, is first cleaning up our plate and taking some low-hanging fruits from the existing system and improving them. Removing some Python dependencies that we still have, increasing that, increasing there. It will have improvements, but not a lot. But 2 major milestones that are upcoming are parallelization. So if you remember, 1.5 weeks ago, we had parallelization in Starknet, and it was taken away from us by Rust. And we can take a moment to honor it while it was. But the good news is that it's coming back, right? And it will be better and more reliable. And this is one of the things that will be added to the sequencers. I won't get into exactly what it is, but okay, we won't have time for questions as well. Okay, the third thing is the Cairo native. And I will try to briefly describe what it is, but my better version, the one I'm aspiring to be, Aki, will describe it at 1240, right? Right? Okay, but like in a very high level, Cairo VM was designed as a way to build a trace that then we can prove its execution, right? Right, thank you. But actually the sequencer, when it creates a block, it doesn't really need to prove it, right? It's later a job of the prover, which can construct the trace and prove it. But the sequencer just need to know what's the new state. Well, if I take an old state, I apply a block to it, what's the new state? So maybe we can take a Cairo program and run it natively on the CPU without anything which is related to proving. You can hear the answer at 1240, but this is, okay, it's possible, and this is something that will be hugely improved, will be a huge improvement to the performance. Okay, great. So that's performance. The next thing we want to tackle, the next as now, is the cost reduction. And a quick reminder from my last presentation, so Starknet is cheap, but it's not cheap enough. And the main cost right now, here it says 95, but it can be between 80 to 95% of the transaction, is the data availability, right? So how do we tackle that? There are 2 ways. First, there is very good news, and which is EAP 4844. I was a bit skeptical. I am a bit still, but it seems like it will be released before the end of the year. And this is great news, because this means an immediate reduction to every Starknet user. So Starknet will support the EAP 4844 once it is released. But we're also working on volition. And a post was published this week in the community forum. You're welcome to participate. And I encourage you to participate because this is not a trivial feature. And for that reason, we will probably have a much longer time on testnet for it. The plan is to have it hopefully by the end of Q3, maybe the beginning of Q4. It was a bit pushed to have it on testnet, and then to run it on testnet for a few months. And in those months, to us as a community, to see what we need to test in order to feel comfortable with this feature, and specifically to orchestrate some data availability failure and to see how we handle this. So that's volition. And lastly, it's fee market. Okay, to me, this is a good mental model for fee market, but it's unrelated to the feature itself, so you don't have to understand it. But basically, when I have congestion, I want to be able to somehow pass the queue, right? And maybe to pay more to pass the queue. So that reminds me that. Yeah, but basically, you want fee market to handle congestion. We're right now, and this was the main problem we had with the previous version. Apart from the throughput being very limited, we also had no way to say, okay, I'm willing to pay more in order to not wait the 40 minutes, right? So users just had to wait the 40 minutes. And this, hopefully, with you building amazing applications, will also happen with 100 TPS, right? So we need to give the ability for users to signal, I'm willing to pay more in order to not wait the line. And this is the fee market. Initially, we plan to have 1559-like mechanism, and it is planned for Q4. But in general, this is a huge research area. And I think Eli hinted to it in what he called the mechanism design. Starknet is unlike Ethereum in a sense, because of the special dynamics that we have. And in general, there's a lot of room to improve here. So it is a huge research area, and I think we, as a community, need to understand where we want to be with it. As a good intro to it, Avihu gave a presentation on its CC, which I think is worth watching. I'm on time. I've been succinct. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan ahead. And again, the only thing I want you to take from it is that now basically is the time to build and not wait. And as Mentor is saying all the time, yalla. Thank you very much.